Hello, everybody, and welcome to the live. Before we get started, I would just like to encourage everyone to please share this live to as many people as possible. If you can, I would love that you share it on your community pages. Hello, Balali. And yeah, so please share this live on as many platforms as possible as we wait on um, our guests to fully acquaint themselves with the layout, and also just we're waiting on one more person before we start.
Can you hear me?
Hello,
Hi, Tolu. How you doing? Yeah.
I'm all right. How are you?
Oh, sorry, I mixed it up.
Hello, Onyi. Thank you for joining the live. Please share this link to as many people as possible.
Okay, sure thing. Are we still expecting one more person? I think we're expecting one more person.
Yes, we're still expecting you today.
Okay. Let me reach out to the team to find out. People's videos are going to be turned on, correct?
Hi. Hello. Can you hear me?
Hello, welcome. Let's just give 2 more minutes to see if Yetunde will join us before we go around and introduce ourselves.
Okay.
How's everyone doing?
I'm trying my best. And yourself, how are you doing today?
I'm all right. It's been a rather eventful day.
That's good. That's interesting.
Same here. I was almost not going to make it because I kind of like took another route. So I took the train. I was supposed to get home like about 6, right? And the next day I said, okay, let me get to Costco first, and I met traffic. But I'm glad I could make it on time for this. So I'm happy. One needed to ask how was our day. So my day was good. It was good.
Yeah. Where do you
This
live?
feels
Where are you based?
I'm based in London.
London. Okay.
Yeah. I work in
Um,
central London and I stay in Dartford. It's quite a
quite a
distance though.
good, quite a
Yeah, it's quite
distance.
a distance.
Yeah. I'm talking like yourself. So you're based in the UK.
yes.
Where
Okay.
in the
What?
UK though?
I live in Wisbech, which is in Cambridgeshire.
I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know.
most, most people don't know where that is.
It's all right. That's good. So I'm the only one in Canada at the moment. So
Yes,
Canada.
so
yeah.
At least the weather is getting better.
Yes, it is getting better. It is a lot better now. I miss the UK weather. I mean, if I had to just deal with rain alone, that would have been good.
I wish it was only rain.
I wish it was, thank you. I
I
wish it
wish
was
Are
I
only
wish it
rain.
was only rain. Oh, I
you
really
the?
wish it.
What else are you? Wind? What else are
Ah,
you?
At least
there's
you guys see
wind,
sun.
there's
Like you
the
get to
weather is
experience
very
sunshine sometimes.
bipolar.
Yes.
Right?
It changes. You don't understand it. You don't even know how you're feeling. You're just not happy.
Weather is also
It's also a
depression is also a
contributor
weather.
to it, yes.
Yeah, I
It's
know,
a
right?
contributor to it.
It is.
Hello, Tiami, you're welcome.
I think you
Welcome. All right, so I think our 2 minutes are exhausted now, so we can just go round and briefly introduce ourselves. We have 20 people on the call, and just before we kick off with the program, I would just like to welcome everyone and thank you for clicking on today's live. Thank you for joining me and these amazing people. We will get to go around and hear about all of them. But if you are just joining us for the first time, my name is Tola, and I'm a mom based here in the UK. I live in Wisbech, like I said earlier, with my family. I work with the NHS part time, full time as well. And I'm also breaking into tech. It's been an amazing journey. Um, Fairly new, so you can say I'm an enthusiast, but not really an enthusiast because I've tried to gather some experience as well. And my partnership with Amdari has been an amazing journey. I have only just started and I have so many nice things to say, but I don't want it to feel like I'm trying to sell you before we start the again of today's topic. But in usual form, that's enough about me. Let's go round. Let's go to Precious. Let's hear about Precious. Let's hear your story, how you joined tech, what you're doing currently, and projections for the future.
Okay. Hi everyone. My name is Precious Ejipa. I'm a data scientist based in the UK. So I currently work with Pfizer, and I transitioned into tech actually because my background is not the I did not study anything related to tech, so I transitioned. Um, I'm currently I have a company, TB Biomedicals, and is actually a product-led digital technology company, and I develop SaaS products as well. I have some products built. So yeah, that's a brief intro about me. Originally, I studied biomedical engineering, and coming over to the UK for my master's, I studied biotechnology before transitioning to data science.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you so much for that brief introduction. Your hands are in a lot of things, so you're a big girl in tech. You're not a novice. So
So
we'll be getting some nuggets from you later on. Let's move on to our next speaker, the only man in our midst. Let's get to know you. Let's say that you are among women, by the way.
Yeah. All right. Welcome. Thank you. Thanks for the wonderful session. I'm looking forward to the session because, uh, just listen to the first speaker. Everybody, most people are in tech transition. I also transitioned. So I studied economics in university and started working as a management consultant back in Lagos, Nigeria. I did that for about 4 years, and eventually I was able to transition to get my first data role. So my first role was in business intelligence, and it took me about 2 years in order for me to transition into that role. 2 years of learning, try and error, interview failures, and so many failures here and there. But eventually, I was able to get a job, and in the last decade, so I've had experiences now cutting across several roles within the data ecosystem. So I've worked as a data analyst, data scientist, data engineer, business analyst, business systems
Mm-hmm.
analyst. I've worked for
Go
companies in
for it.
the UK, Ireland, US. I'm currently based in Canada. Right. My experience has spanned across different fields within the data ecosystem. Currently, what I do now is I work with majorly businesses based in Canada and the US. What I do is to implement data solutions for these businesses. In the same vein, I'm the co-founder of Amdari and some other tech company. And in the span of running these businesses, we've helped Africans across the globe transition into the tech space. So, that's 2 years it took me to get a job in the tech space was very personal. So it became a life goal for me to help other Africans transition into the tech space. And we've done well. In my span, I've done over 3,000. The businesses that we run altogether, I've done about over 3,000 professionals in the last 5 years transition into the tech space. So that's essentially just a brief intro about myself.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you so much for that brief introduction. This is another loaded entity. This is another, power pack when it comes to tech and, the overview. I think you have like a running knowledge, well, more than working knowledge of, what it takes to advise someone who's new into tech. And I can't wait to pick your brain on a number of issues. Well, let's go to this lovely lady who's smiling here. Who almost didn't make our meeting. Busala, you have the floor.
Thank you so much, Tolu. I think you should have just allowed him go last because his portfolio seems really rich. But anyways,
No,
I'll try
no
to just
pressure.
run through my background. Okay, so I think for me, also like studied economics. That was what I started with. That's
Mm,
my background in terms of degree, first and second degree economics.
mm,
And prior to that, to be honest, I don't think as when I came out there was anything such as like tech role like
Mm,
that for me, or maybe something else. It's just more like I wanted to just maybe be a investment analyst, financial analyst. That's what was in my head coming out, and central bank was my goal, right? But so I think it took a turn when I got my first role as a project coordinator in a
mm,
retail fuel station, retail servicing company, right? And for me, that was when I started knowing about project management, right? And then the old tech disruption started already. And oh, you could hear people learning how to code, program, do that, and all like that. But I couldn't do that, right? But so as soon as I was done with that, um, I was done with like I moved from the retail first station. I was really curious and eager to want to like get into like my next role in tech, right? And for me, the transition started from the moment where I just felt like I really wanted that life in terms of the work-life balance that tech brings to like in terms of social life basically, and it just feels like they were like the cool guys then. So I moved over, started my PMP. I did my PMI PMP, which kind of like I think really helped me, so I was able to land a job in InterSwitch. Then from there, from InterSwitch also, that kind of like just started making me get those tractions from like tech companies there. And I currently work in an IT consulting firm where I currently like we kind of like um advise businesses and organizations on how they could apply like technology solutions to improve efficiency basically in their businesses. So like that's how my transition went about. It's been from a retail fuel station, retail servicing fuel company down to a fintech company, then also that. So you know the training
amazing.
he was talking about, I think that kind of also helps. So I think this will be an amazing like discussion for us going forward.
Yes, indeed. Thank you so much for that brief introduction. In fact, how are you? How are you? How are you doing being for? See your portfolio already. Look at all the
No,
things I've already.
please,
Do you
no.
even have more qualifications than me? So what are you talking?
I just hope I'm not murdering the name. I'm being careful not to murder his name, right? But like, no, did you hear what he's doing? Do you see the disruption he's doing in that space, saying it's helping I'm
Uh,
helping a business within my own organization. He's helping businesses in different organizations. It's really causing disruption, please. So that's what I would say.
we're
I
trying our best.
understand, but no
Yeah.
pressure. You still have an amazing portfolio.
Thank you.
Welcome, welcome, Yetunde. We have been waiting for you. Just a brief introduction. We're kind of breaking the ice here and just getting to know everybody and their tech journey. And just give us a brief introduction of yourself, what you're currently doing, how you migrated into tech, if you have been tech all along. We just want to get to know you.
All right. Hello everyone. So my name is Yetunde Olofinle. I currently work as a cybersecurity manager for a Big Four, a consulting firm. I I think I've always been into tech because I have a background in computer science, and yeah, I've always been in that tech familiar space. But I didn't start off as a cybersecurity person. I had to transition at one point to cybersecurity. But yeah, I've always had tech background.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you so much for that brief introduction. Yeah, one of the people who you saw the vision ahead of the rest of us, because I feel like a lot of us are now catching on to tech. Personally, I had a surveying background, but my love or my passion for tech didn't start until a couple of years ago when I found out that it is not just something you can study in school, you can actually build on it, and they're also transferable skills. So I feel like that's a way that most people are coming into tech now, migrating into tech, and it's not just because of how lucrative it is, but it's the future really. If we're looking at how the world is progressing, and the future of how we see the world, really everything is technology right now. Everything is advanced, and in a way, we get to see how this all plays out. But I have a quick question regarding how we're able to move forward. Now, we have a lot of people who have first degrees in a different field or a different discipline and are looking to move over. I'm asking this question basically for the women now. Precious, how do you feel that women are able to bridge this gap in tech? You're muted.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, I would say women trying to break into tech actually should consider identifying transferable skills first, and aligning them with tech roles. Because there are different pathways in tech. You have data science, software engineering, security, and all. It's more like choosing what aligns with your background and your interest, and build more on technical skills. Through courses. I mean, YouTube is your friend. You have courses on Udemy, Sarah, also like boot camps, And one very important thing I would say is the key is networking, because that's actually groundbreaking for me. Engaging in tech communities, and attending industry events, finding mentors who can actually guide your journey. So I would say leveraging on all these opportunities is actually something women should focus on when it comes to transitioning into tech.
What can you say are the biggest ways that people can network? I know LinkedIn is one big place where a lot of people are networking right now, and it's quite lucrative when it comes to putting yourself out there and networking with other people. What other ways can people network or find mentorship for tech as novice?
Industry events actually. So first of all, like for instance, when I transitioned, the first thing I did was to find a community for women in tech, right? And that community, I was able to leverage the opportunities. I attended events, conferences. I put myself out there. I tried to mingle with people. You don't just attend industry events and you stay on your own. You're attending to connect with people, connect with top professionals, industry experts. Exchange contacts, um, as brainstorm ideas together and try to. In some cases, you can even build projects together. So all these are ways you can, build relationships and, also try to maintain it and then leverage that opportunity. So that's one key
Definitely.
aspect I would tell you you can
Definitely.
actually try when it comes to, yeah.
Yeah. Busola, my next question goes to you. As someone who migrated into tech like me, what will you say was your biggest milestone? Like, when did you know that you had hit it in tech? You're muted.
I don't think there's a point where you say you've eat it, right? It's just enjoying the journey, right? So I think for me it was like when I transitioned, I think maybe the milestone for me was getting into like a major fintech back in Nigeria, like getting a job there, right? And them recognizing that the skills I've gotten from my previous roles were transferable. Because I recall when I was trying to like, but also I would say one of the things that also helped me get that role was because as much as I had the skills, when I did the training, I started to understand how what I've done and like the terminologies to use. So for me, I was going for project management role, right? And for me, I wanted to move into tech, and I'd only just worked in an energy sector, right? So I needed to say, oh, this that I've done, stakeholder management, communication, resource management, planning, and all those stuff. This applies today, right? And the whole agile methodology and all like that. I needed to show that I'd also gone advanced beyond the waterfall methodology that's been used in like an energy sector. So I was just looking for a way to just show that this was transferable. So if I had not done this training, I don't think I would have necessarily been able to pitch myself for like a tech company. So when Precious mentioned about getting transferable skills and also like trying to like
Yeah.
understand what the market demands. You might be doing things today and you don't know how it applies. Like when they're talking about stakeholder management and you're just saying, oh, I manage people, you're using those terminologies in interviews today and you're able to tell them, okay, I know what I'm doing, right? I understand it and I can also like, so me
Definitely.
getting those training helped me. And by the time I was able to eat that job. Like I wasn't scared to go to interviews and say, oh, I can do this thing because it's the same thing that applies here that applies here. So that was how I was able to get that job today. So and that was like fulfilling for me, and that gave me like the boost to want to like continue to like strive to
Yeah.
get any role and just go for it. Like so, I think that's how I would say that's
Yeah.
the master for me, like being able to like get whatever I want to get because it
Out
feels
of it. All right. My next question goes to Efe Mena. And my question is regarding your success story. Now, I know you have a wealth of experience, but in a nutshell, I want you to give us like an idea of how it was for you, like getting your first gig after your training, after you had gotten your qualification, you had revamped your CV, you had done all of that. How was it with your success story? How was your first job in tech? Can you give us a quick rundown of it?
All right. Like you said, it wasn't a smooth journey. It took, like I mentioned earlier, it took me about 2 years to get that first job, and
Mm,
eventually, when I got the job, I was asking the question, why did it take me 2 years to get this job? Okay,
mm,
so it was a business intelligence developer role with one of the largest logistic-based business in Ireland. That was the first place I relocated to. So when I got this job, like I said, it was majorly Excel they were using
mm,
for reporting. And at the point of my head, all the reports that they had were looking very basic, and
mm,
I did a lot of revamping. Okay, so I would say in a month or two of starting that job, I was able to revamp majority of the reports that they did. Revamp to the extent of automation and so on and so forth. Like
mm,
the person that employed me was really, really, it felt like a job well done in terms of recruitment.
mm,
So, I was excited. I needed that job, obviously, as somebody that was coming from Nigeria, working, management consulting. People said that if you relocate, you won't be able to get a job. You'll work in care, you'll work in this. So there were a lot of bad
mm.
things that people had said. So, and, it was difficult to get that job. And when I got it, I felt like I needed to do all I could.
Ifemena, please give me a minute.
Okay.
Please, can we all just mute if we're not speaking? I think it's giving feedback. Thank you.
Okay. All right. So yeah, I think that was just about it, honestly. So once I got that job, it was as good as, doing all I can to. So the job itself wasn't looking as difficult as I thought it would be,
Mm,
So and that's really what the case was. And eventually, I was able to do well. I built several things. I implemented several, analytical solutions for the company, and just to put a bit of thing there. So I got another job while I was on that job. It was with Dell, the computer company, and
Dale.
I went to, yeah, Dell. Yeah, I went to meet my boss at the time to tell him that I was leaving. I'd gotten a better offer. Now, this person at the time was not willing to sponsor me. I was looking for a sponsored job at the time, so they were not looking to sponsor. So I told them the offer I got from Dell, and what happened was the guy that's the boss at the time took a day to decide it, and by the next time I was talking to him, he was telling me that, oh, they are going to sponsor, they are going to match the salary, and they are going to give additional perks to, and that's the good thing about delivering well on a job.
Yeah.
Honestly, like I said, I did a lot. I implemented several new things, so it
Mm,
felt like I was a key man in the department. That I couldn't go, I shouldn't go anywhere, and they matched the alpha. And long story short, I stayed back with the organization. But guess what? 2 months down the line, I got another better offer, and
wow.
eventually I had to leave the organization because the guy had to tell me that he called me Effie. Effie, it's not every time you have a better offer, we're going to be matching
Mm,
your your
yeah. Oh,
your
definitely.
exactly.
Yeah.
So, but long story short, I did well on the job, and that's what I usually tell most people that once you get that job, do all you can, learn, do all the things that you can to perform well on the job. At the end of the day, it's not as difficult as you think it is. The key thing, the most difficult part is getting the job itself, I would say. But yeah, that's
the reason why I asked you this question is because I'm at this stage, and you just said that it took you 2 years to get your first gig. At this stage, I feel like if most people who go into tech or who transition into tech are looking to get a job as soon as they finish, for some it happens, for some it takes a while. And while you're waiting, that's what Amdari is for and all of that. But while you're waiting, it's important to keep working on your skill. Like you said, as soon as you got that job, there were a lot of things that you did to, distinguish yourself in that field. And it's not like they didn't have someone for that job before. But when you came on board, there were a lot of iterations, there were a lot of implementations that you made as a person. So you showcased your skill. And obviously, when the second offer came up, they felt like this is a gem, we can't let him go. So they matched your salary. Another job came and all of that. So I feel like it can be daunting, because one thing I pride myself in is the fact that I like to give people the full picture. So when you are crossing over into tech, it's not a bed of roses, it's not guaranteed. There is a process, there's a waiting process. And once you're able to stick with it and, earn your skill, earn your strides, as it were, it just, it's beautiful to see, and it's encouraging to see that I'm not the only one who's gone through this as well. So it's nice.
all right.
Precious,
So
you have a lot of, sorry?
yeah, I just wanted to chip in just based on what you said. Okay,
Yes.
so before I got that job, it definitely took time. Okay, it wasn't like, oh, I learned today and I got. It took me 2 years. The entire span took me about 2 years to get the first job. But in that 2 years, trust me, I worked on several kinds of projects. Now, the project that actually got me this job was exactly just what you were explaining. It was very interesting, so I wanted to share this. So I was very inquisitive, while I was learning. Okay, so I used to be a very ardent Arsenal fan. Okay, so what I did was I went online to get data about Arsenal, and I've spoken about
Used
this.
to be.
It used to be, yeah. So I don't watch football anymore, not as much, anyways. So maybe because of the ad break, I don't know, but yeah, I don't. So long story short, I used to I went online, got like a website that had all information about Arsenal data, EPL scores, who scored the goals, and did they win, did they lose, did they draw the match, and all that, and who the opponents were. So I used Power BI to scrape the data from that website, build a dashboard, and it was just a fun exercise for me. Literally, I was just in my room and I just felt like doing something fun, and I did that. And guess what? The interview I did for that business intelligence role, they were asking, what projects have you worked on? Okay, what things have you done in the past? And that was what I had at the time. So I showed them that particular dashboard, and the lady was flabbergasted, like
blown
she was
away.
blown away, like, you did this by yourself just for fun, just for fun. I was
In
like,
your
yeah,
spare time.
that's what I did. So I used Power BI service, I did all the old automation and everything, and that was what they were looking for, like literally, and at the end of the day, the offer came in, and that's what I got. So I usually don't tell most people that it's not easy. Like you said, a lot of people just feel like, oh, if I go through the boot camp, or watch a video on YouTube, that should be sufficient enough. It's free resources. It's not sufficient enough. There are quite a number of things that you still need to do. But anyways, we're making these things easier. Hence the reason why we're doing it. Yeah.
Definitely great stuff. Thank you so much for that. Precious, I was about to say that you have quite the following in my chats here. I can see your name pop up in comments here. I don't know if you can see the comments, the live comments, but your name is popping up a few times. So you have some fans there. But my next question goes to Yetunde, and I want to ask you, as someone who has been in tech, you've probably seen trends, you've seen things unfold as a woman in the field. Now, with an unbiased response, I want to pick your brain and find out how it has been in the tech space. Like, how have you found the journey in tech from undergrad to where you are right now in your career, what has it been like as a woman? Do people take you seriously? Have you always had to prove yourself as a woman? What has your experience been in tech? Today.
You have
There seems to be a lag from your end.
Okay, is it better now?
Yes, it's better now, but yeah.
All right, great. So I was saying that it's interesting that you have I remember.
Oh, I still can't hear you. There seems to be a problem with the network. Or is it just my end? No.
Okay, I wouldn't know.
It's not just your end.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, and I would really love to get your response on that.
Okay, is it
possible?
Is it still? Can you still hear me?
Yes, this is much better now. Let's go.
Okay. All right. So I was saying that it's interesting that you asked that. Even though like I said, I have a background in tech, but it has not been like a bed of roses. I remember many years ago, I started a programmer. I used to code, so I was developing websites, and at the time, this was like 10 years ago, and a friend of mine had introduced or referred me to someone who was looking to build a website. So it was more like a done deal. If this person got on the phone with me, and if this person heard my voice, I'm like, "Oh, you're a woman," and I'm like, "Yes, obviously." And the person was like, "Oh, and you know how to cook?" And I'm like, "Yes." No, I don't believe you can actually do this because you're a woman. How would a woman, And that was it. And this person just dismissed. I felt bad, like I felt it. It was like, and like it was like a door was shut, against you. And I'm like, okay. But I didn't allow that to discourage me. And I just knew that I had to, I had to prove myself. And now, so that aside, that was like the very first time I was seeing this gender bias thing like broad daylight. But that aside, also my journey, my career journey as a cybersecurity person, I've always had to prove myself, because you are in a male-dominated field, and your colleagues, you don't really look like you. Most of your colleagues, they are, male and all of those. And you always have to prove yourself. And I think there is something about we women, maybe me, I don't know. There's this imposter syndrome. You're always second guessing yourself. Are you good enough? And all of those. Even though, like I said, I've always been in tech, and I still get this feeling. And it's just something you have to confront, and you have to, tell yourself that you're good enough, you can do it. If a man can do something, you can, even if it's difficult, you can actually do difficult stuff and just get it done. So it has not been rosy. There is that bias. There is that all constant, having to prove yourself to show that you can do this. You are here. You're a woman. Fine. You are in male-dominated field, but you can actually be as good as those men, even better.
Great stuff. Because the reason why I asked you is because I wanted to pick your brain on how the trend has been, if it's different now, because we have quite a few women now in tech, but coming from an undergraduate background, even in your undergraduate days, did you notice a difference with how your colleagues related to you, like in the lecture room, or even with your academic performance when it comes to IT, or just understanding the course generally? Is this something that we can expect to go away soon, with women breaking into tech now? Because it's more like a force now. It's something that we're seeing come up really rather quickly.
Yes, but the gap is still there. But what like platforms like this and other, and as well as other platforms encouraging women to get involved, you can do this thing, is not as difficult as you know, the way we see it. It's not as, and even if it's difficult, we are capable of doing difficult stuff and we can do it. I believe that gap would close, but there's still going to be more male in tech than women. Maybe it's going to take years, a lot of years, for that gap to completely narrow. Yeah, but we'll get there.
Precious, what's your take on this? What's your experience been?
To be honest, I go with Yetunde, because when you talk about the gender gap in tech, it's not just about numbers. To me, I see it's more about access to the opportunities, and the ability to thrive. And in my own journey, to be honest, I encountered biases. But yeah, I chose to just equip myself. I found myself in most of my roles, I found myself as I mean, in most cases, I see myself as the only one in most organizations I go into, and it doesn't really, bode well. So my own transition from biomedical engineering to data science, and especially in digital health, was not easy. But I would say that with perseverance and the support from community, that helped me actually bridge it.
Yeah.
And one of the key challenges I actually faced was the assumption that roles in tech are actually not meant for women. I transitioned. Something like software engineering, I started something male related. So overcoming this is actually required confidence in my expertise, and proving my value through results. I think what Yetunde that also said something about having to work twice, just to show results. And overcoming this is something that takes time. It's not just something you attain. You need to build your confidence. I mean, women, we are making progress, but there is still work to be done. And I think that companies should actually really invest in mentorship programs and this unbiased hiring when it comes to hiring. I think it's going to give them more opportunities.
Definitely. I've also noticed, because as I'm applying for jobs, I've seen that a lot of employers, I don't know if it's an HR thing, but a lot of employers are adopting the anonymous application system, where you just apply with your initials, or you apply without any, I think that it's something that they're also trying to work on for most people that I've seen, especially if you're applying for government jobs, if you're applying on the government website, they're also adopting this anonymous way of applying, just to bridge that gap and make sure that it's fair for everyone.
And another thing I would like to also add is, as a woman, I talked about building your confidence, right? So the way you can actually do this, you know what, Ife Mena, I don't want, did I say
Ife Mena?
Ife Mena, okay. You know what he talked about, building projects like just for fun. He was actually building his confidence, so these are things that as women we can engage in. So for instance, I talked about some of my projects earlier. To be honest, those projects initially started as fun before I saw potential in it, and then decided to make it into a big thing. Like for instance, as a medical engineer, I've seen firsthand the problems that hospitals face when it comes to medical equipment. You understand, because when there is problem with your equipment, it can lead to loss of lives, and it's also the hospitals a lot. And that actually led me to developing an AI model for medical equipment failure prediction. So this model can actually predict the failure of an equipment even before it happens. So
Right.
when I started this, it was just as fun. But when I saw progress, when I saw that there's actually future in this, I started taking it serious. I did more research to the extent I had to even publish papers on it.
Mm.
You know, and I'm still working to, improve it more because I see future in this. I also have another project like a diabetes visualizer app. What the app does is to provide patients with actionable insights, into their blood sugar level.
Yeah.
These are things that, I mean, we should do. It does not really need to be for fun. You should just look at where your passion is. Mine is healthcare, and I
Hmm.
channel my data science skills to healthcare. So just identify where your passion lies. It can be law, it can be finance. Just
Yeah.
channel it there and do things, showcase yourself, showcase your skills. Even without a job yet, you can put yourself out there and you see yourself
Oh yeah.
making impact and difference. And
Definitely.
you don't know when the right opportunity is going to come. You need to prepare for the opportunity even before it comes.
Yes. Definitely.
So
Definitely. Now my
I
next
just
question goes to Ifemena, and it has to do with Amdari and what Amdari stands for, and how Amdari is also looking to bridge this gap for women, and you know, just what give us a rundown of what led to Amdari and why.
All right. Yeah, thank you very much for that question. So for Amdari, the goal was one of the major challenges that we faced, even as tech professionals looking to transition into the tech space. One of the major challenges that you face now is lack of work experience. So,
Yes.
as beginners, when we start looking at transitioning into the tech space, the major thing that we focus on is certification. So you want to gather and bag as many certifications as possible. But you see, when you start to apply for these jobs, okay, experience actually trumps certification anytime, any
Yeah.
day. So you can gather all the certification you want. Experience is actually what you need. All right. So that's why we started the platform, okay, Amdari, to see how we can give people work experience through working on real life projects. So just like everybody has rightly said, one way or the other, in order for you to build that confidence in yourself when you're looking at getting started, it's experience. Is you working on those projects will build your experience and get you started in the career path that you want to go into. So currently we offer 7 career paths: data analytics, data science, data engineering, SOC. That's Security Operations Center Analyst. We
Yeah.
have GRP, Governance, Risk and Compliance, and we have Ethical Hacking and Penetration Testing. So we focus on those 7 career paths because the pathway for you getting a job at the end of the day is it's more realistic in the sense that there's a high demand. You learn the skills, you have the experience, you can use those things in actually getting a job. So Amdari is the platform that guarantees you work experience, okay, through working on real life projects. So what we have done also internally is to partner with different businesses literally across the world. So we have
Yeah.
partnerships with startups in the UK, in the US, in Canada, in Kenya, in Nigeria. So startup anywhere really, okay? Startup different across the world, face different challenges. And what they do is, okay, give us your unique business challenges. We have people, interns or people that want to work on different kinds of projects. So we have people that want to work on health projects. We have people that want to work on logistics, supply chain projects. We have people that want to work on different types of projects. Come on board. We provide you with this, projects for you to work on. You work on the projects, you gain the experience that you need, and you can use this experience in applying for a job. So when you go for the next job interview, you can easily talk about the things that you've done. You can talk about the project you worked on. You can talk about the business that you worked with. Oh, I worked with this particular supply chain company, or I worked with this particular healthcare company, or I worked with this. This was the challenges they were facing. Okay, how were you able to overcome it? This was the solution I gave, or these were the things that I worked with. And the best thing also, I would say, is the fact that we also assign a mentor to you when you come on board. So one of the major challenges I faced when we're learning by yourself, working with, and now I'm very sure everybody has faced this situation before. So you are watching a code-based tutorial on Udemy or YouTube, and you find out that whatever the person wrote on the screen, and you're writing the same thing, and you find out that their own is running, but your own is not running. So those kind of challenges, you see that you try 2-3 times, you probably escalate to send the person a message, the person doesn't respond. You find out that you just lose interest and you kind of back out. So that's why we have mentors assigned to interns, so that at every point in time, if you're having any challenges in working on that
You
project
get
or
that
solving
support.
it, you get a support also. So, and there are tons of other things that we have in place: CV review, LinkedIn optimization, how to navigate the job market, interview preparation. So the goal for us is literally to get more. The goal is more Africans. I won't lie to you. They still lot towards Africans. So women I mean, you're an African in the UK, there's a disadvantage there already. Now, if you're a woman and you are looking at, the disadvantage has increased by almost
Yeah,
80%. All right.
I get
So
what you mean. I
exactly.
think
So
one thing I love about Amdari is also the fact that you have a job portal. That thing is sweet to me, like, because it's not just for you to tell me that, okay, I'll get the work experience. Let me see the jobs that you have. I love the fact that you have that job portal that people can use. And you also have a portfolio, like a portfolio template that
yes.
people can adopt and, talk more about that, please.
Yeah, we're making life easier for people, majorly Africans, looking at transition, moving into the tax space. So you talk about the job board. So everybody will know that they are looking for job board, looking for remote jobs. If you're looking for a remote job, what do? You go to LinkedIn, you go to Glassdoor,
Yes.
you go to all the sites to look for remote jobs. And at the end of the day, what happens? You don't know exactly how to track. So what we have done is to build our own job board where we are pulling in remote jobs from different aspects of different roles from different platforms, so LinkedIn, Glassdoor, FlexJob, and so on and so forth, into one central platform. Also, one of the ways it's difficult for people to showcase the projects they've worked on. So we have our own dedicated portfolio. So once you create an account, your portfolio exists by yourself. So you can easily create your portfolio by yourself, rather than you going to learn HTML, CSS and all that to build your own
Yeah.
website. You can actually easily create your own personal portfolio websites through the Amdari website itself. So, and there's so much more, honestly speaking, in terms of what you get from coming on board and saying itself. Yeah.
Amazing. Um, right now, Amdari has a 50% discount for those who are looking to join the International Women's Day cohort. Can you give us a rundown? I know you favor women now more than the men, because the slots for women are a lot more than men, which is in line with what this video is about. So give us a brief rundown of why you made it like that, and when the discount ends.
Okay, the discount is majorly tailored towards women in tech. Obviously, we know women are at huge disadvantage within the tech space. I really can't tell. I can only look at it in the lens of me as a guy. Okay, first of all, as a guy, either you're in the UK, you're in Ireland, or anywhere in the world, you're already at a disadvantage, like I said earlier. But a woman also looking at transition, I honestly have not been in, but I've heard from different stories, and some of the ladies here have shared their experience already. So we're looking at how we can bridge the gap to get more women. Now, if I get a job today, okay, I would likely not see an African with the team. If I see an African, it's likely going to be a guy. All right. I won't say a girl. I won't see a lady in there. So we are tailored towards the women. So we have the discount tailored majorly to the ladies, looking at transitioning to the tech space. So we're doing 200 women in the month of March. Okay, 200 women are looking to transition, gain that experience that they need to get in a job and getting into the space itself. 200. And we're looking at just 50 men, 50 to 100 men, just for them to also. So we are not. We're just still extending it to the male category. All right. So majorly for us, the women in the tech space. So it's 50% discount. This is a one-time deal, once in a year kind of thing that we do every year. All right. This is the first time we're doing it this year. Okay. So if you're looking if you know any lady that is looking to gain experience across the 7 career paths I spoke about earlier, then this 50% is guaranteed for them to use in getting a job itself. So if you're looking at getting that's what I would say, to be honest with you. And it's 50%. The discount is going to end this month. So on the 30th of March, that will be the end of the discount, and we're going to revert back to the normal status quo. All right.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you have two packages available. So you have the 3-month package and you also have the 6-month package. Now, someone would ask, why pay for 6 months when I can pay for 3 months? What's the difference? For me, I know the difference. I know which one I would prefer. But
Yeah.
I want to hear from you, Ifemina. Which one would you advise someone to go for?
All right. Depending on where some people have done some training in the past and they are looking at getting started, so 3 months will be ideal for them. So if you have like some form of background knowledge, not like you watch YouTube videos, like you've gone through a boot camp or you've done some courses
Yes.
and you have some level of experience already, then you can go for the 3 month internship just to work on projects in 3 months and then use as experience in getting a job. But Udemy courses and you're not as confident, okay, I would employ you go for a 6 month internship where we
To
provide you
get
with
the
background
experience.
information. You're even onboarded more like a beginner, okay, where you're provided with tutorial videos, walkthrough videos, and all that. You're provided a course. Something also I didn't talk about is you're also giving a course. You're giving courses, short courses that
Oh,
would
okay.
allow you. Yes, you're giving short
That's
courses
on the 6 month program.
on both 3 months and 6 months. You
Oh,
have
really?
yeah, you have short courses that will go through both of them. So yeah, we provide you with as much information as you can in order for you to make that transition into the tech. So yeah, 3 months. If you've done some courses in the past, 3 months will be ideal for you. If you've not done too much, then the 6 months internship will be more ideal. But I mean,
Would be
at
more
the end of the
ideal.
day, it's your preference. If you want to work on more projects, more
Mm.
diverse industries, then definitely, without a doubt, that would be the case. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I honestly, I still want to listen to Precious and Busola in terms of actual challenges. Because one thing I
Yeah.
just want, yeah, actual challenges that. So I worked with I had a mentee, I had a mentee. This was about a year, 2 years ago. She's based in the UK. I worked with her. She was able to get a job working as a business analyst. Okay, and working on that job, she found it very difficult. As a business analyst, you get to interact with different people, and she said I don't know if it was an accent or if it was something, but eventually she struggled on the role for like almost 6 months or thereabout. So in terms of ladies now, looking at even when you get the job, is another hurdle entirely. So I want to hear from your own experiences if this is something if this is a current challenge for you also in the space itself.
Um, Sorry, I would just love to go because I think after Precious spoke, like I just tried to like list out some things, right?
Mm.
I'm trying to ensure that we are just not saying, oh, you can do it, but also like telling people how we did it, right?
Yes.
And for me, I think one of the major challenge when transition, I think like someone earlier mentioned, is mindset.
Hmm.
I think it starts with, for instance, now, I'm sorry, someone is already asking, oh, we are waiting for the project management cohort. And I think there's always that fear of the mindset of, oh, do I at this point in my life want to start learning how to code? Or do I want to
Mm.
do this? Do I want to do that? Do I want to now start learning SQL, Power BI, and all that kind? That fear alone can overwhelm you, and you just say,
And
well, you know
discourage
what, I
you.
don't think I can do this, right?
Mm.
So even as much as people say interest, right? I remember when this old tech started and one of my friends started learning how to code, as in she took it serious. She studied international relation, and all of a sudden she just wanted to, she could not go into it for long, right? Because she was just doing it how to, okay, I
Mm.
just want to transition into tech. So this is my advice, right? There are so many areas in tech.
Mm.
Identify the roles in tech today. Know the list is endless, right?
Mm.
You just might not be data analyst. You might be as good as planning events, birthdays, and all like that.
Mm-hmm.
There's project management, there's scrum master, there's product owner, there's like all those things. Product owner, it's about you understanding, oh, the integrity of it, maybe even like baking a cake is understanding the integrity
Yes.
of everything that makes up a cake, right? Once you can achieve that in terms of making or baking a cake, you can own a product, you can be a product owner, right? And now when FMNR, sorry, that's just forgive me, right? When they are having like programs that, okay, like boot camps and all those stuff, right? And you're able to tell yourself, okay, I'm doing cake, I'm managing products, right? It's not about maybe, okay, you're having to look at SQL. It's just the fundamental in terms of your mind, right?
Yeah.
And once you know you can achieve that, you can actually own a product. That's how me I would see it. Even in terms of project management or planning and events, right? That should give you that confidence that if I could spearheaded this from end to end, I can
Yeah.
actually do this. So I think that was where my mindset came from. And even my venture into tech started from, I was running an NGO even before I got my first role as a project coordinator. Before I started, okay, I could go for a project manager role in a tech company, right? And that's how it started. I just told them, I was able to manage this project and this was what I did, blah, 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 for this NGO and all of that. That was how I got my first role, right? So it's knowing how to apply, even FMNR, you mentioned it when you stated that, you were just out of interest, like pulling out scores for Arsenal, blah, blah, blah. So I think there's always that fear for women. I don't think this is for me, or I think it's more for guys in terms of coding and all like that. You don't realize that some of the day-to-day management you do, or day-to-day things you probably do,
also qualifies.
they actually qualify. So I just feel like it's how you're able to like look within yourself and see that, this thing I'm doing, when people ask me questions about this area of interest today that I want to go to or have identified, you're able to say, this is how I'm managing it, even when you don't have that maybe work experience, but you have real life experience that you can apply to say, I even did this in my spare time and all like that. But those are like developmental stuff you can talk about. So I think that's what will give you the courage or confidence in my own mindset. Then also when you talk about the biases you face at work in terms of maybe I had a situation where when I got a role and I'd worked in the company for like over 2 years, then there was a situation where, someone had just joined the company 6 months and I was the one that was in charge of trying to like nurture him to grow. And when restructuring started, right, I had handled over 200 projects, and the next thing they were going to give it to a guy to like when they were doing regional this thing. And I knew my facts because we were using ERP then to manage projects, and I'd managed over 200 projects. And this guy had just come in, and obviously I nurtured him, but in my mind, all I just saw is that, you just wanted him to be the face. I would be the one doing the hard work, and you were putting a guy in front because of leadership meetings and all like that. So I think as women, I even recall meeting one woman when I went for one event, Women in Tech. She works in business, and she was telling me, as a woman, you have to prepare twice. And entering a room, and you're not a black woman, you have to like double prepare. So I think it starts with you knowing that, okay, there's this barrier today, and even when you're going in for a meeting, you have to like be prepared, right? Like double prepared, not just even once prepared. So if a guy is preparing once, you're preparing like twice and just trying to lock out every gap. It's sadly that's the truth, but that's what you have to like double prepare. Then also I think another thing I would like to say is that for me, when that happened, I knew the value I bring, right? Being able to, because that could break you down and that could discourage you and that could make you pull out, right? I wouldn't lie. I quit my job that period because I was like, at that time, so what they do, they blind copy people for increase. I was given an increase. So I knew that, there's no how I wasn't adding value to an organization for 2 years. But unfortunately, as soon as I resigned, because I had to call one of the manager and asked him, I said, sorry, I would like to know what are the measures or determinants to this today, like restructure. Because in my mind, I just felt like the way I could interpret it is that it's just like I've been in the company for 2 years. Somebody joins in 6 months and you're doing a restructuring and you wouldn't put me as the lead of that region. What's the problem? Like, it's just like you inviting, like, sorry to say, but I'll just use maybe like a logic to try and explain it. How would you bring like a primary 3 to explain to like to lead like someone in primary 6, or you get that kind of thing? To me, it was kind of like, is it based on me delivering value or is it based on my gender? So I knew it was gender because I was blind copied for this, and I actually nurtured this talent today, and I wasn't given the opportunity. It's not because of the title, but it was because I feel like this will continue to happen today. And I wouldn't advise anybody to quit their job, but at that point in my life, I had to talk to myself. Okay, I think I've learned. I remember when I wanted to leave the sector, leave the department, and they were like, no, you're one of our good aunts here. And now an opportunity comes and you guys wouldn't give it to me. I spoke to myself. I needed to grow myself, groom the experience I'd gotten by getting like certifications to like just kind of like ensure that, I know what I'm saying and know what I'm doing. So experience and training also like just came into the picture, and that's how I was able to like secure my next role. So it's the mindset. Okay.
Decided to take a stance.
Yes, I took my stand, right, and just understood that you're adding value. You need to know your onions. Like when you're adding value, you don't let people interpret it, but you
Walk
already,
over you.
even in the little silence, they are not letting you go. They're increasing your salary and all like that, because you can lie to yourself as a woman. And maybe I'm not adding value. That affected me, right? It really, really affected me. Even when I resigned, it got to a point where they were like, oh, like 3 days after my resignation, they were already like sidelining me and all like that. I really felt bad, to be honest. I wouldn't even lie. I felt really, really bad. But I
But
had
out
to
of
like just
curiosity,
okay.
how long did it take you to get another job?
It took me 3 months because I left there. That was September. By like December, I'd gotten another job. Right, that's when I got into a fintech. But at that period, that was where I was investing in trainings and all like that. And the moment I even like I was interviewing for roles, I remember when one woman was like, "Oh, it's not hybrid. Sorry, this is what we can offer you." My previous job was not paying me as high as that, but I already knew my value as that. I could already like
Yeah.
bring it together because the training had exposed me that, oh, this is what I was doing today. This is what I'm doing today, right? That I didn't have an understanding. I was just doing
Yeah.
it. Right? So, which boils down to what I'm saying, that people do things basically today and just feel like so far is not in the confine of a house, you don't know that
Yeah.
you are doing things relating to this today. So yeah, I was able to like merge what I was doing, and like everything just came together, and I knew my
Yeah.
value at that point. And when someone was telling me, oh, this is what I can offer, this is the money we can offer, and it's not remote, I was like, sorry, if it's not remote, this is the pay that I want. And where I was coming from, I wish I could mention the pay. Like to the pay they were offering me, it was way higher, but in my mind, I already knew my value then. And I was not surprised by the time opportunity came when the fintech
Came.
company, I remember, came. And when I remember the CEO asking me, oh, so how do you know you delivered on this project? And actually, I was able to tell him in clear terms. I was handling core clients in this organization. So you need to just get to that point of confidence. You need to get to that point of where your preparedness meets opportunity also. And also believe in yourself. Believe in your ability, which comes from what you can do. Then now back to even now being in. Sorry, that I'm taking time. I'm just trying to like put my mind.
We just need to go through the questions very quickly just to wrap things up.
Okay, no problem. So, okay, can I just continue?
Yeah, just wrap it.
Okay, so just to wrap it up, I think another challenge I faced, like moving over, because I got a visa sponsorship job here in the UK, an IT consultant.
I was going to ask about that. Yeah.
Right. So, and getting that also is also part of like my previous experience. But also, what I would say is that I faced challenge in terms of being a Black person and trying. You wouldn't people when people talk about racism, you'd be like, you think maybe it's just to your face. It's microaggression you mostly get in terms of accent, and it can silence your voice. So I think for me, my first line manager, I know maybe due to like bias and all like that, I didn't even know what it feels like, where it just feels like the person is trying to like silence your voice, and you need to like have that community that just reminds you, and you're able to look at your past values and past experiences, that I did this in the time past, right? I can do this. So maybe the lady you're talking about, effeminate now, right? It maybe needs her having that solid network where she's able to look back and say, oh, you can do this. You are the one that did this. Precious, you see the people hailing you here in the chat, right? These are the network when you go out there
so many fans in my chat.
When you go out to face the lions and they are tearing you apart, you need those people that are like, we believe in you. When you look back and you're like, no, if I disappoint these people, how do you have to go back and tell these people that I cannot do it? No, you have to go there and face that. So I think that's where the confidence, the experience, and also like trying to develop yourself.
It all comes to play.
Yeah.
So Busola, you touched briefly on a question I was going to ask. Thank you, Femina. I was going to ask about, finding jobs with sponsorship, because it's a huge thing for people who live in the diaspora, not just for people living in Nigeria. Even for people living in Nigeria, I would say that it's a big question, because obviously with movement and migration going on everywhere, people are looking for opportunities that can afford them the privilege of finding a job that could take them out of Nigeria or out of whatever country, like Kenya, like FMNA just mentioned also. So to the audience, if you have any questions, please leave them in the chat. We will be taking questions in the next 5 minutes. I just wanted to ask this question really quickly as we begin to wrap up. Efemina, with Amdari, is it an occurrence, a regular occurrence that comes up where you get people who are finished with the program and are able to land sponsorship jobs? Is it something that happens often, or is not as rampant as people think?
All right, yeah, yeah, definitely. We have people that have gotten sponsored jobs, and we have a very unconventional way of, getting sponsorship jobs. Okay, so and I use my own personal experience as a yardstick. The first job I got wasn't sponsored, but eventually performing well on job, you're able to get sponsored. Very majority, I would say about 80% of the time, 80% to 90% of the time, you can likely get sponsored. Okay. So a lot of people and lots of recruiters already know that international students and international people need sponsorship to get a job. I was speaking to a recruiter, this was just sometimes last year, based in the UK, and this person was talking about the fact that uh, they have removed sponsorship from all their job applications. So they do like a 6-month contract. And I was asking him the reason why they do a lot of contract roles, because I see a lot of contract roles now. He said it's difficult for them to fire or sack a full-time staff. Okay, there are regulations, there are things, labor law and all that. So they can't just lay off somebody because you're not performing well. Okay, and if they've sponsored you, that means they've invested in the future to say that this person is going to be with us long term and all that, blah blah blah. So now they have like a 6 months contract whereby you have no benefit, no nothing. So if you're not performing well in like 6 months, they are not renewing your contract, and that's the end of it. So one of the guys that got a job, is a data engineer. Just completed his master's, looking to get in a job. Luckily, he started Amdari just before he concluded his master's. So the master came with an option to do internship. Okay, so while he was doing the internship with us, he got a full-time internship. I told him to apply for internship roles or contract roles and all that. So he got a contract role where he was working with this organization. So they were moving from a legacy system into a cloud-based system. So they needed a data engineer that will manage that project. So he got a project and he was working on it. I don't think he was even getting paid. Maybe if he was getting paid, it wasn't very good pay. All right. But long story short, that same role sponsored him currently, gave him a full-time job, sponsored his visa, currently based in the UK. And this is unconventional. Most people that are looking to apply for sponsored roles would ask you, where can I apply for it? Okay, so you go to visa sponsored jobs. Everybody, even people in Nigeria, people in Cameroon, people in literally all parts of the world are using that same website to apply for sponsored jobs. So competition is really, really high. So to create your own opportunity, I usually advise people apply for these jobs. Yeah, so long story short, we do help people get sponsored jobs. But like I said, in the unconventional way of getting sponsored jobs. So perform, get the job. You have the experience that you've gotten from us. Use that experience. You get on the job support also. So you can use this experience. You can use us as much as possible to perform well on the job, and you can use that in getting a sponsored job. So I don't know if any other person has that same experience or I've heard of those things before. For the ladies in there. Yeah, I don't know if any other person has
Precious,
doing that.
have you heard, or is it something that's common in your community as well?
Sponsored roles, right?
Yes.
So it's not all the roles that actually do sponsor, but I agree with what Efebana said. And to be honest, for you to get a sponsored role here in the UK, you have to be very good at what you do. You really need to be very, very good at what you do. And most people don't sponsor based on like if you're a new joiner, you need to have passed your probation period before they look at giving you anything like sponsorship or things like that. So yeah, that is. I like what MNI is doing. To be honest, creating opportunities for yourself where there is no opportunity. I mean, if there is no opportunity, you make one for yourself. And because I had this exact challenge when I was transitioning. I struggled, to get things done, and that was even the main. I had to even seek out supportive communities, right? And because of the things I faced, I did similar thing that FMNI is now, but then I did it in a non-profit organization. So they mentored men in tech, women transitioning in tech. I've provided mentorship to them, and as a data analyst as well, I was able to analyze like member feedback, on survey responses, and I understood that one of the major pain points that we had in the community was like members not having access to internships and opportunities to showcase their skills, build their portfolios. And most of these people don't even need paid roles. They just want a platform where they can skills and build projects together. And I think they will actually really benefit from FMNA's organization, right? And what I had to do, using the insights I got from the survey, I created this exact thing that FMNA created in the community where members are paired together to work on a particular project. So initially what I did was alongside me, we created like project topics that people can choose from, work together. We made it like a project management timeline. We're managing it using, project management platforms and all that, tracking progress. And we made it in such a way that every month a project should be completed, And at a time, I communicated with my team and we're like, okay, I think it's best people bring in projects. So I created a type form where you bring in your project, the reason you want this project, the feasibility and everything. We review it. We feel like that is what people can do, and the team size and everything. We allocate the project and you go with it. So I mean, these are the kind of things that help showcase, and build their portfolios, and like we said, create opportunity where there's none, where there's none.
For yourself.
And yes, exactly. That is why I really like what this organization, this Amdari, is doing, because it's really creating opportunities for people, and I think women will really benefit from that.
Definitely. Now going over to the questions now, just as we begin to round up. There's a question here directed to FMNA from Mimi Hart, and this question says that we're still waiting for the project management cohort, or looking forward to it. I know people have been asking me this question ever since I mentioned Amdari on my channel. People have been going for the project management course, but unfortunately, let FMNA speak about that, but this is a question I've gotten quite a few times myself, so
okay. Two things. We had quite a number. So we opened a project management internship that was in January. We had quite a number of people wanting to join. So we have quite an intake for that at the moment. Okay. So we are not accepting people at the moment. So I would say in the next month or two, we're looking at ways we can restructure it in a way that we can actually work with more project managers. That's been like the major, issues that we have. But definitely, yeah, we should be just in the next month or two. We will definitely be launching the project management course and internship. I mean, and then you can use that. So in the next month or two. But for now, it's temporarily closed, just so that we are working with the people that we have and you're getting the best result from the experience they're getting. So that's
right.
the situation, yeah.
So guys, it's not like there's no project management with Amdari. It's just not, the slots are full right now. That's all they're saying. It's not like there's no project management at all. So don't let that throw you off, okay? All right, so keep watching this space. The next question is from Opayemi Samuel, and he said, "Thank you all. I've been attending the cybersecurity training. I just need to understand what to delve in properly." So he was talking about SOC and pen test. And I'm sure that's the cybersecurity. Can you speak more on that, Ifemena?
Yes, we have the cyber. I want the cybersecurity professional to take that first, then I can expatiate from there on how the internship
All right.
can go. Yeah.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. So I think the person said he's been following the cybersecurity course, right? And he's not sure which to take, if it's SOC or VAPT. All right, great. So what I usually advise when you are transitioning to cybersecurity, it's very, very important that you specialize. You don't want to, because cybersecurity is so broad. You know, the way you have IT is broad, cybersecurity is also very broad. There are a lot of areas, and you don't want to do try and error. Let me try this. Let me try this. You just get you end up getting very confused. So I would say that learn the basics and don't spend too much time on the basics. Just know what cybersecurity is about. Know different pathways that are in cybersecurity, different career paths, and play to your strength. I don't say, oh, I want to be a pen tester. If you know that your skills or your interests really do not lie there, if it's GRC, go for GRC. If it's SOC, go for SOC. So identify where your strength lies. Identify the transferable skills that you already have, and just specialize. Now, if you want to go for SOC, just know it's SOC, and you learn. You know, it's better you're rooted in SOC. Then over time, as you grow in your career, you can then start branching. Like when I started straight head on straight GRC. But now, as I'm growing in my career, I now manage GRC team. I can even take on, VAPT and all of those. But it's better you specialize so that you narrow your journey, your learning path, and you are then able to, grow in that. So I would advise that if you are looking at SOC or you're looking at VAPT, you just have to choose one. Do a bit more research. Which one are you
Best suits you.
Yes, yes, and go with that.
Right.
Yeah, so just to ride on what Yetunde said, when the question came, I could see Yetunde was happy to, I was like, oh, this will be the perfect. All right, yeah, so just like you said, Yetunde, absolutely 100%. So when we started the cybersecurity, we had only the 6 months internship, and it was open to literally everybody. It was a combination of all three career paths. That's SOC, pen testing, and GRC. So as an intern in that 6 months period, you go through all those career paths. But what we saw also was some people did not, and it was very interesting to see that people wanted GRC. I just wanted GRC. I don't want to see SOC. I don't want to see pen test. I just want GRC. Some people are also, I want SOC. I don't want. So we had to break the cybersecurity internship into three career paths. That's SOC, pen testing, and GRC. So it's tailored focus. So in the next 3 to 6 months, you're going to be working tailored projects on those particular career paths. So, like what you said, I usually focus on the one that you want. I've gotten to see now interacting. I'm also looking at people that want to transition into the space. People tilt more to SOC because number one, I won't say it's easy, but it's more entry level. It provides more entry level access to more people that are looking at transitioning. So I won't say it's easy. There's nothing that is easy, really. All right, but yeah, it provides more entry level access.
Emphasis on that.
Yeah, for pen testing almost in the same vein, but I would say that it's a tad bit more technical. So people that have interest in it definitely reap the reward, because as pen testers, there's this level of independence in terms of you working for different organizations. I have people I've worked with that literally have like 3, 4 contracts with different businesses where they are working independently, and they have converted their skills from just working for a person to a business where they are implementing it for different businesses and all that. So yeah, those are the kind of things that you get exposed to and you get to learn from. But yeah, SOC definitely, and I usually will say this, okay? If you're looking at going into any career path, spend like 10, 15 minutes, go on the job board and look at what the requirements are and look at what the job entails itself. Which one of these roles, are you tilting more to? Do you find yourself excited when you're reading the job description, or you envisage what you'll be doing, so on and so forth? Okay. Now, the other beautiful thing about the internship is for a 6 month duration, you can split it. So if you're torn between SOC and pen testing, you could actually do the two. So do 3 months of
3
SOC
months in that.
and do 3 months of pen testing, and that you can use that
See
to
how
gauge.
you feel.
Okay, yes, I actually prefer this to this, and that's exactly what I recommend.
Great stuff. I think that question also answers Damilari's question, because Damilari Dauda is asking, please, as an international student studying cybersecurity masters in the UK, what advice would you give for career advancement and sponsorship roles? Just to avoid repetition, I believe that getting this answer and FMNA covers that as well. Moving on to the next question. This question is directed towards Precious, and it says it's from Ugochi. She wants to know, please, as someone with a background in both healthcare and technology, how do you see the role of AI and data science in addressing gender disparities in healthcare across the career opportunity for women in tech?
Um, okay. I would say with my background in both healthcare and data science, I know I've seen firsthand how you can use AI insights and to bridge the gaps to assess both healthcare and professional opportunities for women in tech. And in healthcare, I would say data-driven technologies, would empower women to take charge of their health. Um, for instance, like through personalized tools. You know what I mentioned about my project on the diabetes data visualizer
Yes.
app, that enhances self management. There are so many products like that, tools like that could be used, um, for healthcare and self-management. And also, I think beyond healthcare, the AI can also identify gender disparities in hiring patterns, like what we mentioned earlier about employers integrating this bias hiring, using AI to,
Yes.
yeah, in the workplace. And I think even in clinical research, bias in clinical research. For example, studies, I think most studies actually show that AI models can be trained, on diverse data sets to highlight gaps in healthcare access and also women like leading targeted interventions. So I actually believe that the interdisciplinary collaboration between healthcare and technology, can change the narrative for women. And I think that this is something that can ensure inclusivity, in both sectors.
To be honest, Precious, I think that this topic you've mentioned deserves a video on its own because it's an untapped, really untapped topic. I feel like a lot of people are streamlined when it comes to healthcare, like they're not really thinking outside the box. So tentatively, we might have to come back and revisit this topic because it's quite broad. But just to wrap things up and to thank everyone, all of you, thank you so much for sharing your wealth of information. I would just like to go around and thank you personally from me to Busola. Thank you so much for sharing your journey with us, for how far you have come as a person, and for being vulnerable, sharing your experience, your personal experience with being a woman in tech, and how far you have come, how you have also navigated issues that pertain to segregation or discrimination as a woman in the workplace, and how you've also navigated that. Thank you so much for sharing. Efemena, our Oga. Thank you so much for coming on today. you you have shared so much with regards to Amdari, with your project, what you've done, how you started, how you have evolved, how you yourself have leveraged on, what you have done to get to where you are. It's beautiful to see because it helps people like me know that I'm not alone and the journey can only get better. Anyway, moving on to Yetunde. Thank you so much for sharing your wealth of experience. You are a deep person. You don't talk much, but you are deep. You have a wealth of information that I would love to tap into, especially with cybersecurity. I see that most of my questions are in that regard. So you might also be coming back just to share a few more insights to the course and give people a better understanding, because I feel like information is key and a lot of people can benefit from what you have to offer. Our
Thank you.
Odogu of today, Precious. I don't know where all these people know you from. I don't know where they came from because the comments are flooded with Precious this, Precious that. There's a lot
I
of
shared
comments here right now, and
the
it's
link
beautiful to
on
see
my
that you
profile.
have quite. Sorry?
Shared the link. You know when you said we should share the link on our platform,
Okay.
so I also shared it on my WhatsApp and everything. So I think people also
All
joined.
right. That makes sense. That makes a lot
Mm.
of sense. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing from your wealth of experience. I believe that your background in healthcare is what makes people relate with your journey a lot better. Because if you come into the UK, most of the jobs that you might find easily or find first is something in healthcare. And for someone like me, transitioning from healthcare, because I've worked in a care home, worked in mental health, worked as a, how would you say, domiciliary care. I've done all of that, and healthcare was, it had its good moments, but the transition into tech is something that I've recently only just started sharing here on my channel, and the response has been overwhelming. There's still so many comments I haven't responded to, and to see you thriving in this community, thriving in this new field. What tech is never really new. Let's be honest. Tech is, it's been there, but I think a lot of us are just tapping into it right now, and it's beautiful to see. Thank you so much, Precious, for speaking so eloquently. Thank you for contributing and sharing from your wealth of experience. I would just like to get final words from you as quickly as possible because this video has gone on way longer than I intended. So we'll just go around. From Busola, let's hear from you in your closing remarks.
Okay, so I'd just like to thank you all for the opportunity. I think it's amazing sitting with like people who are doing excellently in their career
Oh, yeah.
and being able to like just pour out like what we faced and maybe like how people could just learn from it and be better and maybe like just keep that order and just go for it, right?
Oh, yeah.
I really appreciate this platform. Thank you all for inviting me.
Thank you
You
so
guys are
much,
doing
Busola.
amazing work. Well done.
Thank you. Over to you, Efemina. No. Efemina, you'll be the last person to speak. Let's go to Yetunde.
Okay. First off, thank you for having me. I would say that so a lot of people right now they're feeling that they're late to the party. Like, oh, tech is already getting saturated. A lot of people are there. How do I stand out? I tell you, the maybe the best time to have transitioned was yesterday, but the next best time is now. Don't look at the market. Don't see that saturation. You can stand out. You can silence the noise and stand out. So get on board. Join the moving train, and tech is the new is the next big thing. Yeah, and yeah, get a mentor, please. If you are coming, just get a mentor, and you'll be fine. I tell you, you'll
Thank
be
you
fine.
so
You
much.
can
So, in other
do the
words,
first
get
thing.
someone to hold your hand. Hmm.
Exactly.
Thank you so much for that. Precious, let's hear from you.
The big thing I'm going to say is believe in yourself. You know, when Busola was talking about the option she faced and everything, you know, believe in yourself. That is the way you're going to break even. Because I had a similar experience where a manager wanted to make me see myself less. And that really me, you know, I felt like I couldn't do anything. Even things I know I could do before, I found myself doubting myself that
Mm,
is not something I can do. So do not let somebody, and that actually led me to like having imposter syndromes. So first of all,
mm,
do not let anyone, especially as a woman in tech, do
pull you
not let
down.
anyone pull you down. Believe you can do and do it. Engage
Mm,
yourself and in community of women in tech, not doing just ensure that you find yourself in the right place and yes, that is one big thing I'm going to say. And there are so many untapped areas actually, just like in this, it has
Yes.
not ended. Yeah,
Yes.
and yeah.
Definitely.
So start now.
Definitely. Thank you so much. Efemena, you almost gave me a heart attack. Where did you go?
I have no idea. The stuff just went off by itself. Yeah,
All
but yeah,
right. So let's hear from you. Closing remarks. Let's just wrap this up.
and I've spoken. Something I said earlier is if you're an African or you're an
Mm,
immigrant in the UK, you're already at a disadvantage already. Okay.
mm,
Now, if you're a woman and you're African, I mean, the disadvantages increased by a lot more. So, what I would say essentially is what, just to piggyback on all what ladies have said, is just believe in yourself. Okay, getting started is usually very difficult. That's the hardest
mm,
part. Getting started,
mm,
taking that first step to say, let me even try. All right, is the very difficult part. And everybody have said it. You need somebody to hold your hands. I
mm.
usually say this: follow who know road, follow the person that knows the road.
Yeah.
Just because it took me 2 years to get a job, just because it took other people, different challenges or different hurdles for them to get their job, you shouldn't go through the same route. Okay, so and that's the reason why we started Amdari, to see how we can help Africans literally across the world, gain this experience, gain these practical skills, and get started. So. Um, I mean, they've said everything I wanted to say, to be honest with you. I would just say that take the first step, try. There's no
Yeah.
harm in trying. If you try, there's literally there's something I was watching the movie yesterday, and I'll just pick exactly what they said in the movie. The person said you lose 100% of the shots you don't take. You
Mm.
lose 100% of the shots you don't take. But if you try,
100%.
there is a 50% chance of you getting it done.
Mm.
So is it that you get it done, you don't get it done, 50% chance. But if you try, there is a possibility of you actually getting it done. So why don't you try?
Definitely.
Just try.
Definitely.
Okay? And that's what I would say
You
at the
have
end of the day.
nothing to lose.
Nothing at all. Nobody
Definitely.
will arrest you if you apply for a job, and nobody will come and arrest you if you apply for a job and you get
Mm.
to the interview and you don't do well in the interview. Nobody will arrest you. Nobody will come
Oh,
to your
yeah.
house to say that you're a fraud. Nobody's gonna
Mm.
do that. So why not
Mm.
try? So what's the
Yes.
worst case scenario? You get a rejection
What's
email.
the worst
You
that
move
can
on to the
happen?
next one.
Mm.
Exactly. So that's what I'll say. Thank you very much.
Thank you all so, so much. Thank you. It's been a really engaging time. It's been um, intellectually stimulating. It's been encouraging for me as well. I cannot wait for this IWD course to start.
Yeah.
My hands are itching, literally, to get my hands on
Precious.
projects and get back in the swing of things. Hopefully, we will be having another session with Amdari. Look out for that. It's coming up soon, towards the end of this month or very early next month. You'll be getting 2 more videos like this from Amdari, and just watch this space, you guys. Thank you all so much for sticking with us to the end of today's video. I will see you all in my next one.
Thank you so much.
Bye, everyone.
And we're
Bye.